Hello and welcome to Unit 8, Part 4. My name is Mr. Bell, and today we're going to talk about rate of change. Given the function f of x is equal to 3x minus 4, as the value of x increases by 2, how will the value of y change? Well, one method to figuring out how y is affected by certain changes of x is to look at a table of values and see how y changes for whatever change that you're doing to the x value. So I'm going to go ahead and type this function into my calculator and produce a table of values and see if we can answer this question. Here is a sample of what my calculator produced. When I typed in this function and asked in the table mode of my calculator, I was given this as my table of x and y values. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at as x increases by 2, what happens to y? So let's find any part of our table that we want to and see if we can answer that question. I'm going to go from 2 to 4. I think we can agree that that is an increase of 2. So my x value increased by 2. What happened to my y values? Well, from 2 to 8, I increased by 6 units. And that should work for any increment that you increase the x value by 2. For instance, if I chose 3 and 5 as my x values that increased by 2, if I look at those particular y values, it should have also increased by 6. And from 5 to 11 is an increment of 6. So every time we increase our x value by 2 in this particular function, our y value will increase by plus 6. That is how y changes as x increases by 2 in this particular function. So all I did was use my table function, looked at what exact change it wanted to make and increase by 2, and I looked at how the y values changed over that interval. On this slide, we're asked to find the rate of change from year 3 to year 5. And you may recall from a previous lesson that slope or rate of change is the change in y over the change in x. And let's see if we can apply that to this particular problem. From year 3 to year 5. Okay, so we're looking at year 3 and year 5. Well, my change in y went from 300 to 500. Well, that's an increase of 200 units. And my x values over that same period went from 3 to 5, which is an increase of 2. So my change in y was 200 from year 3 to year 5, which was the change of x was 2. That 200 over 2 simplifies to 100 over 1, which would be my rate of change. From year 3 to year 5, we increased by 100 every 1 year, or 200 for 2 years. So the key formula to remember when you're asked for rate of change or slope, you look for the change in y divided by the change in x. All right, thanks for watching. Hope this helps.